Wagnerites were attempting to carry out a rebellion in Russia, the armed forces of Ukraine killed 720 Russian occupiers and destroyed 6 tanks and 5 multiple-launch rocket systems at the front. British analysts noted that in recent days, Ukrainian troops have regrouped and are once again carrying out large-scale offensive operations on 3 main fronts in the south and east of Ukraine. The Ukrainian troops are using the experience of the first 2 weeks of the counteroffensive to improve their tactics for assaulting deep, well-prepared Russian defenses, the ministry noted. Ukrainian units are making gradual but steady tactical progress on key fronts. In Luhansk Oblast, the UK Ministry of Defense stressed that Russian troops have made significant efforts to advance in the Serebryansk forest near Kreminna. Their actions likely reflect continued orders from Russian senior leadership to go on the offensive at any opportunity. Russia has made some small gains in the area, but Ukrainian troops have prevented a breakthrough by Russian troops, the British analysts said. Fighters of the 1st Mechanized Battalion of the 3rd Assault Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine completely defeated the 3rd Battalion of the 57th Guards Motorized Rifle Brigade of the Russian Federation and cleared the western bank of the Siversky Donets, Donbass Canal from Russians on the Bakhmut front. Deputy Defense Minister Hanna Maliar said that the eastern group of forces launched offensives on several fronts at the same time, in particular in the direction of Orakovo-Vasilivka, Bakhmut, Bodanivka, Yehidny, Klishchivka, and Kurdyamivka. They are making gains on all fronts. Meanwhile, commercial drones that have made their way to Ukraine are now useful tools for troops, many of whom post photos and videos online to show how they are equipping these devices for military use. Videos have shown how a simple hand grenade dropped from a drone can cause major damage to a tank or armored personnel carrier, which are most vulnerable from above. The dropped explosives can easily injure the troops on board the vehicle and disable the aiming and firing mechanism of the tank. Grenades dropped directly on enemy positions or vehicles without armor can be even more devastating. According to aviation expert Xavier Titleman, Ukraine has been working on modifying drones for military use since Russia's annexation of Crimea in 2014. Thanks to 3D printing, the Ukrainians were able to develop assets for dropping grenades or small bombs on targets, Titleman explained to the France 24 Observer team. Drones increase the efficiency of artillery, they can replace soldiers for reconnaissance missions, they are very precise, and difficult to detect. And destroyed. The enemy is always afraid of threats, even far from battle. A video shared by the Ukrainian Armed Forces Facebook page shows drone footage allowing their artillery to wait until 24 Russian soldiers had assembled in an abandoned building before firing a salvo at the site. Ukrainian forces are digging in and attacking on the southern front after having partial success in the last day, and are weathering a big Russian assault in the east, a senior defense official said on Wednesday. Ukraine has reported recapturing 8 villages in the south in the last 2 weeks. Though small, the advances are the biggest by the Ukrainian military since November as they push into heavily fortified and mined Russian-held areas. She said Kiev's forces were continuing offensive operations towards the city of Melitopol, a Russian stronghold deep in occupied territory, and towards Berdyansk on the Sea of Azov. Kiev has prepared for months for a counteroffensive seen as a crucial juncture in Russia's war, but has imposed a communications blackout and independent reporting is scarce. Military analysts say it is too early to draw conclusions about the success or otherwise of the 2 weeks of operations. They say Kiev is yet to commit the bulk of its forces, a chunk of which were trained and equipped by the West, but that Ukraine's forward positions remain some distance from Russia's main defensive line. Russia and Ukraine have both reported inflicting heavy casualties on the other. Reuters journalists who visited 2 liberated villages last week saw the bodies of dead Russian soldiers on the ground as well as burned-out armored vehicles. In her statement on the Telegram Messenger, Maliar reported heavy fighting in the east, especially near the town of Lyman, which Kiev recaptured from Russian forces in October. In the east, the defenders continue to hold back a large-scale assault by Russian forces in the Lyman and Bakhmut directions, Malier said. She said the east remained a main focus of Russia's offensive actions and that Moscow still aimed to reach the boundaries of the regions of Donetsk and Luhansk, which make up the industrial Donbass area.